welcome to the Caprock Life Podcast, the official podcast of Caprock Home Health, which has been in business over 42 years. We are the largest family-owned home health company in Texas. Our mission is to keep our clients safe, comfortable, and independent in their home. We are a values-based company, and our core values spell the acronym DIRECT, because our core values direct how we behave. Our core values are drive, integrity, respect, empowerment, compassion, and teamwork. Our standard of excellence: work hard, be nice, have fun. Let's get into it. Well, hey, Caprock, welcome back to the Caprock Life Podcast. Over the last few episodes, we have unpacked our 2026 company priorities. We've looked at break everything, create raving fans, and today we're going to unpack the third in the trilogy, which is extreme ownership. Because without ownership, improvement stalls, trust erodes, and growth becomes impossible. So, Carlos, welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah, excited to be here again.
Heck yeah.
I'm going to become a host, I guess, here pretty soon.
You're practically a co-host.
Right.
Honored to have you. Well, let's do a quick question to kick us off.
Sure.
What's a lesson you learned the hard way about leadership or ownership?
Oh, gosh. There's been several because I've failed so often at this. But I think one of the biggest ones that I learned early on and didn't recognize it until a little bit later is that I don't have to be an expert in everything, right? If I'm trying to master everything, I'm really working towards being a master of nothing, right? Spread too thin. I think understanding the idea that I don't have to know everything, but I do need to find people that can fill in those gaps has been huge. Knowing my position as a leader and growing into the leader, that's settled in more than ever, is finding those people to fill in those gaps. There might be some areas you can improve your skill sets. They might not fall into your strengths at all, right? They might be a frustration of yours. But there's other people that love it. So looking at the working genius tenacity is a frustration for me. But man, we work with some people that absolutely love it. And surrounding yourself with individuals like that, whether it's on your team to create a stronger leadership support system or to manage a task, right? To get a project across the line, you got to find who fills in those weaknesses, those gaps that you don't have. Bring them to the table, make them a part of your team, make them a part of your focus, like I said, in the project, and maximize their ability to practice their skill set to help get it across the line, right? I know what value I bring to the table, and I know what I don't. And I know that I have to surround myself with those, like I said, in those instances where it's necessary. And that helps create myself as a leader because I'm not taking, I guess, the responsibility of having to know everything, but I'm finding solution, right, to provide and fill that gap, whether it's in the mission, like I said, whether it's in a project or whether it's just creating that strong support system. I know what I'm not good at, I know what I suck at, and I know I need to bring those people that are good at it to help close in that circle. So I say that's probably the biggest lesson I've learned the hard way, like I said, by failing so long, is knowing that I don't have to do it all, and nor am I expected to do it all.
Man, that's got to take some pressure off too.
It does when you figure it out. It really does.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Solution is the people, putting great people around you.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about extreme ownership. I think you and I know what that means.
Yeah.
And this term, extreme ownership, comes from a book you and I both read called Extreme Ownership by an author, Jocko Willink.
Yeah.
So encourage our listeners to check out that book. It's incredible. I think it's inspired many of our leaders on our leadership team. So well worth the read. But that term, extreme ownership, can also kind of sound intimidating.
Yeah.
So what does it mean to you? Put it in your words.
Yeah. So if anything to summarize into a statement is me, right, as an individual, taking full responsibility for my role, my actions, but then also my outcomes, and identifying how I take that responsibility, both as an individual and as a team member, right? Holding myself accountable to what I know I'm responsible for, knowing what outcomes I need to achieve and chase, and how do I put myself in the best position to accomplish those before somebody calls me out on it, is an ideal situation I want to put myself in. That's what I was seeing. That's what I see, right? As extreme ownership is knowing your role, knowing ideally what you're expected to perform well, and knowing how your actions, your performance impacts others. So being able to hold yourself accountable, take care of what you need to, but also understanding how that supports others is something, I guess, to summarize extreme ownership is really having self-discipline, self-accountability.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
We were talking about a really powerful quote before we got on here, but I love it. Ownership begins the moment excuses end.
Absolutely.
And I love that because we talk a lot about another tool that ties into this line of choice.
Yep.
And one of the below the line behaviors is excuses,
Yep.
blame, denial. But I love that idea that ownership moves you above the line. It's when excuses wrap.
It is. It's identifying and really refusing to live in blame, right? I'm the only person to blame if I don't perform.
Yeah.
At least that's the environment that you hope to be in. And I feel that we are here. But I also have to question, what am I doing to maximize my potential, right? Am I self-learning? Am I educating myself in an area that's going to improve my own performance? Am I leaning on others to grow, right? Yeah. Am I knowing what part of the cup needs to be filled by somebody else? Am I humble enough to go and ask for that, to go and learn that, to have somebody help and guide you, mentor you, coach you, whatever that might be? And then am I asking and making sure I have the right tools, right? Am I owning my position enough to go and challenge my leadership to ensure that I have what's necessary, right? So necessary is a key word, but what's necessary for me to perform my job and do it well? And then to meet those needs, right? I can't sit around just wait for somebody to bring success to me. Got to go capture it.
Yeah.
So, and I can't blame others if I'm not succeeding, if I haven't checked all those boxes.
Yeah.
So that's
that.
Living in blame is a terrible place to be, right? I've got to own, ideally, what I can influence and become familiar, right, with what I don't know. Like I said earlier, know what I don't know and learn how to fill that gap so I can be successful and my team can be successful.
It's good.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about why extreme ownership matters so much in 2026. So, Carlos, why is this such an important priority for Caprock right now?
We're advancing so much, I'd say, in creating a team that knows how to win. A lot of that, of course, starts with culture. It starts with people. But it also starts with clarity of mission, right? But as we're chasing all those and as we're looking to accomplish not only short-term, but establishing long-term success, we know that we have to build a team that we can trust, right? Build a team that's agile, that can respond, a team that takes initiative, and creating a staff and a support system of people that you can rely upon. All these things working together create both a strong individual, a person with extreme ownership, and a stronger team, right? To create that extreme ownership. As I said, we have to, I'd say in 2026, because we're experiencing in our industry so many things that change, positive things that happen, but there's always negative things that happen, right? When we're dealing with federal funding, governmental funding, dealing with insurance companies, right? They're doing their best not to pay for things. We create challenges, and extreme ownership, creating that trust, right? Creating that support system of reliable individuals actually allows us to create a team that wins through challenging circumstances. And it's so important now because we'll never stop facing that, right? And as that's coming, as we're facing challenging circumstances, we also have a ton of opportunities out here that will allow us to continue to grow, continue to perfect what we do, bring quality services to the home of our patients that need it, and build a strong leadership team, build a focus, build a supportive team at the same time. And it's so important to just understand extreme ownership, your part in your role, your part as the team, your part in the big vision, the vision of the company, and how we can continue to chase that and align it and be a part of creating and strengthening that team that wins.
Yeah. man. That's so good. Well, and we've talked a lot on other episodes about being proactive versus reactive. And really, we've discussed it many times that if we're not proactive, we will fall behind. This industry's evolving so rapidly.
Yep.
So a big piece of ownership is that proactive piece.
Absolutely.
We just sit back on our heels. We will lose. But on the other side of it, if we have ownership, it creates massive momentum.
Yep.
So, and ownership ties to everything we do, and that's why it is so important. Just like you said,
Absolutely.
it ties to how we communicate, how we follow through,
Yep.
how prepared we are, and then again, that idea of showing up above the line
Yep.
each and every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, let's talk about what extreme ownership looks like daily. Let's get real practical here. So, Carlos, to you, what does extreme ownership actually look like in everyday work? And maybe you can give us some examples.
Yeah, so I say for me, right, is clarity of what you're going to accomplish that day, but also how your day plays into the week, right? You can take the week into the month and into the year, and I think you need to have that outlook. I think you need to have that focus, right? But you got to do the things daily, right? You have to make those small incremental wins to get to the big wins that we're ultimately chasing.
Yeah.
So I think having your day planned out, right? What you're going to do to accomplish your short-term goals, knowing accomplishing those short-term goals creates long-term success. But do you understand the efforts that are needed in that day? And it changes, right? Sometimes the efforts are larger than others, whether it's how the day shifts for your job or how it shifts for the team that you're a part of and that you need to support, right? Because we not only serve people, but we also employ a lot of people. And with that comes support needs that change daily, from patient challenges to operational task challenges, to legislative, challenges. Who knows what's going to happen day after day? So knowing that you have your focus, creating that focus for what you need to accomplish that day, but being dynamic enough to shift as necessary because you know what's needed throughout the week, throughout the year, et cetera.
Yeah.
Right? So creating that daily focus and knowing what value you need to bring every day to yourself and the team is really what I try to utilize as best I can when it comes to the daily recognition of extreme ownership.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Super practical.
Yeah.
Preparedness. You hit on it earlier, talking about agility. I love the idea of agility, flexibility. Yeah. That way you're prepared when the tides change. You can jump in and own it.
Yeah.
So that's really good. Some other examples we discussed offline. Stuff as simple as ownership can look like, I'll follow up. I missed that. Let me solve this. I'll take that on. Ownership does not sound like, again, these are like blame type excuses. Nobody told me.
Yep.
We've heard it a lot in the past. Well, that's not my department.
Right.
And so this idea of ownership is really taking the reins. Like, no, I can help jump in and solve that, even if it's not my department.
Absolutely. Even if it's not your department, even if you don't have the level of authority or skill set, finding who does. Don't just leave it.
Yeah.
Right. Transition it to that person. Share with them and assuring that they can help take care of that too. You're part of the solution that way. Even though you didn't have a hand in maybe solving it, you kind of did. As long as you transition to the next person, knowing that you're helping achieve the mission of supporting that patient and their needs.
Yeah, right. Fantastic. Well, I want y'all to hear this. This is a huge takeaway, but we've said this before, that leadership, but also ownership, it's not linked or tied to a job title.
Absolutely.
Some of the strongest ownership in our company comes from people that don't have leadership titles. So I want that to be heard with our listeners, is that you can lead, you can take ownership regardless of your job title.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the link between ownership and trust a little bit now. How do you see ownership impacting trust inside Caprock?
We had recently in Inspire. So we had Jason came on, right, and did an Inspire. And so he actually kind of ended with having the question is, how do you want people to experience you, right? Yeah. And I use that as really a basic question, or if anything, temperature setting for trust. I want to create my image, right, as far as the team member being able to trust as somebody that's disciplined, collaborative, others that can depend on, right? They can depend on me to carry my load, but then also provide value towards theirs. Making the team better. What you can do to go above beyond just kind of some of the things you said. Creating trust is making sure you're transitioning messages, even if they don't belong to you, but to other teams to help them to really be successful. Knowing that you're part of something bigger than just your position, right? Knowing that we're part of something bigger than just the team. I think establishing those, carrying that. I want people to understand. I want them to experience me that way. And I'm not perfect, right? I'm going to fail at quite a few of these things, but that's why you build a good, strong, supportive team to help. That's why the line of choice is so important. If I'm not performing on these things, or I'm finding excuses, or just denying other things, I need somebody to call me out on it and to bring me back. And then the key right there is the response, owning it, creating the positive outcome out of that, and then moving forward and really reducing the number of times that happens. I think that creates a large amount of trust. So I just think really you create yourself as somebody that can be trusted through many of those things. Some of the key points kind of I wrote down too. Follow through, right? Follow through with your team, just like we talked about. Responsiveness, communicate thoroughly, clarity, right? Clear as kind. We've talked about that before. Having that clarity, owning your mistakes, but then also creating the responses and the action items to correct them. And then showing the pursuit of eliminating those possibilities from happening again, and then just staying solutions focused, right? Yeah. Don't be that person that just comes and brings all the problems, but then that's it, right? You turn into a complainer. Yeah. Here's a problem. Here's what I think can be done. Here's why, right? And then if you're comfortable enough to be a part of the process to correct that solution, we'd love it, right? I'd love to have it. If you want to hand it off, that's fine too, because you brought it to the table. So I think bringing solutions in lieu of identifying problems is another huge aspect to create some trust. Excuse me.
Well, and with that, staying solutions focused, we've recently debuted it, but we don't have a complaint box here at Caprock. We have a process to file a formal complaint, and that will always be a thing through our HR department. But we've created a platform through our Microsoft Forms where people can provide solutions and suggestions. Yeah. And I love that language because it is all about creating solutions and then owning those. And we always joke with people, be careful what you bring to the table. We want to hear it, but just know that we may also rope you in. You brought a fantastic idea. Yeah. Very likely you're able to be a part of the solution.
It's really a leadership moment, right? Yeah. An opportunity. So we'll challenge you. You bring it to the table. We're going to challenge you to be a part of it.
Yeah. And shout out to David behind the desk here. He helped create the solutions box. So kudos to him. Well, here's the challenge for the week. Find one area where you've been waiting instead of leading. Maybe you've waited to be reactive instead of proactive. And ask yourself, what can I influence? What conversation needs to happen? What problem can I help solve? Or what responsibility can I fully own? So if you ask those questions, those will orient you towards that mindset of ownership. Yeah.
Agree.
Well, Carlos, any final thoughts as we look to wrap this series? We've unpacked our priorities for the year. Break everything. Create raving fans, and this last one of extreme ownership. So what are some parting words you want to leave with us as we look to wrap the trilogy of the priorities?
Look to kind of keep it as simple as possible. Is like understanding that these aren't just company initiatives. Like these are daily decision-making actions. These are things that we need to make actionable in each and every one of our decision opportunities, whether it's in the time, in the current time, in the future. The idea is for these to not only be impactful during the year, but beyond, right? I want these to become a part of our culture. Yeah. All of these are culture-based, performance-based, high-performing characteristics that we not only want to drive and empower people to learn, practice, and share with others, but it is to become a part of our culture. So these are 2026 initiatives, but ideally they're expected to become a basic part of our practice through the next 40 years,
Yeah.
right? Ideally not to be forgotten. We may bring some back every now and then, but we'll never let them die. And they're going to be a part of our processes going forward. So the idea behind these priorities is setting the culture, the standards of operations, and the expectations of how we do business.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. And tying in our core values, I think this is all about empowerment.
Yep.
This extreme ownership mindset gives people the opportunity, the permission to lead, even before they fully feel ready, before they have the title. We're giving you permission daily on how you show up. You can own this thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Absolutely.
All right, well, as we wrap, thank you all for listening today. My encouragement is challenge old systems, serve people exceptionally well by creating raving fans, and then own what's in front of you, how you show up daily. Take that question Carlos asked, how do I want people to experience me? Man, and use that. That can really change how you show up every day. It's fantastic.
It's a fantastic question to start the day with.
Yeah, it really is. So take that, run with it. Thank you for listening today. And as I always say to wrap, why not us? Why not now? We'll see you next time.